Hey everyone. I have a lot to say. Not really sure how to say it, so I'll cut to the chase first here. I will be leaving Ono Anime pretty much immediately after this is posted, I think. Have no fear. Marc is going to continue on his own. I didn't script this out. I probably should have. But before I get to the good stuff, have no fear at all. For the last year or so, I've pretty much just been showing up, and Marc has taken care of all the details, and he will continue to do so. And I have no doubt what he'll do in the future will be every bit as good, if not better, than what we've done, and something you guys will be delighted to continue to watch. Now that that's over with, the first bit, I'd like to take a little bit to wax poetic and kind of tell you guys a bit what Ono Anime has been for me and what it's meant to me and what's been going on lately. Of course, if you don't care to hear any of that, I believe Marc will have his own portion after me saying goodbye in this video, talking about what to expect in the future. So I'm sure we'll put a timestamp somewhere. Where to start? I've been into anime for a very long time. I'm 27, I think, 28 maybe. It doesn't matter, but it's been more than the majority of my life. I've been into this stuff, and I was a passive observer, a passive consumer. You know, aside from a couple choice anonymous posts on 4chan every once in a while. Back in the day, I was really a passive consumer, and Ono Anime was my first and quite a big foray into being more than that. It started several years ago, where I used to do Sunday nights. I would do an anime night for a couple of friends, where everybody knew I was an anime fan. I was never shy about that in my own personal circles, and every Sunday night I'd show a couple episodes of what was airing that season, or a movie maybe, depending on who was showing up and stuff like that. We did that every Sunday for the better part of a year, and I don't remember who it was in that group of friends who said, "Hey, we should make a podcast, something out of this." It was anywhere from 5 people to 15 people, when it got busy. And you say a crazy crack shot idea like that enough, and somebody's crazy enough to make it happen. Of course, when we brought it up, or when I brought it up, nobody was really too serious except for me and Marc. So we, one of us, I don't even remember who. It's been so long now. Just bought a little snowball microphone off of YouTube after Googling to see what was good for beginning podcasts, and went to it. That was our first episode. Was it if games were eggs, E3 would be a nest? It happened right after E3 2 or 3 years ago, and it ballooned from there. I'm really not sure where I want to go with this. I have a couple points I want to hit. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I've been watching Anime Weekly since, God, whenever Xenosaga the Animation aired. That was my first weekly one, so like 2005, 2006, and I've been watching more or less since elementary school before that. And to have an outlet where not only I could talk about anime, but where I wanted to talk about anime, and people were free to listen if they wanted to, and I didn't feel like I was barging into their life by talking about what I want to talk about with this awesome hobby that I had so much passion for, meant the world to me. It was the first time I had a real creative outlet, and that was so important to my growth as a person. I've done a lot of growing the last few years, a lot of growing, and I can directly attribute pretty much all of it to Ono Anime. It has affected my life in a lot more ways than I thought a little microphone purchase could. I'm not gonna cry. Fuck you. It just ballooned. It was talking every other week for a while, and then eventually going to Japan and having the crackpot idea to use a camera. Hey, let's go on YouTube too. At that point we had maybe a couple hundred regular listeners on on our podcast before we swapped to video, and from video it was a slow climb. And you see other YouTubers talk about anime. They've got tens of thousands. A couple have 100,000 viewers and or subscribers rather. You think, man, that's crazy. And then you look at us and we had friends and family. That first 15 or 20, and eventually you organically get more viewers, more people that care. And you see those numbers, and sometimes you're sitting there and you're comparing yourself to those big names and saying, man, I don't understand how anybody could ever make 100,000 out of this. But at the same time, you take a step back and you say, hey, maybe I'm not at 100,000, but that's 50 people, it's 80 people, it's 200 people, it's 500 people that have decided they want to know when I have something to say. That's mind-boggling. That's huge. I never thought, all those years watching anime, just this nerdy kid, that there would be people interested in my friends' opinions. It was incredible, and I like to think it never went to my head. Who knows if it did? Obviously not too much if I'm leaving now. Those numbers are bigger. It's painful to leave when it's finally shooting off like this. But for a lot of personal reasons, I'm burnt out, more or less. Like I said, I've changed a lot, and the number one place where I've changed is confidence. I don't think I've ever been super shy, but I never really put myself out there. And the first time I noticed Ono Anime changing that was actually attending local conventions and doing panels. Because until then, we had gotten, a couple tweets here or there, a couple emails. But interacting with people in real life and, running a panel and having them come up to you and be like, hey, good job, you guys did such a cool thing, that was awesome, consider me a fan. And then, going home and looking at the email and saying, hey, you got 15 new subscribers. It's like, wow. And from there, I learned to love that I love what I love. And I learned to, I wouldn't say parade it around, but be more honest to other people. And that confidence is really something. It's, anime is not something to be ashamed of. Super huge tangent. But it's meant a lot. And, that mentality has attracted other people into my life with a similar mentality, and it's been awesome. Mental health wise, it's been fantastic. But between that and some life goings on, some crazy stuff at work, I don't have the time. I don't feel like I was doing Ono Anime or you guys a service anymore. I was dealing you a disservice. Marc's been doing almost the entirety of the work behind the scenes, and it was I don't know, it didn't feel fair, I guess, to just show up. And this last season of anime, I've been watching less and less. I'm down to like 10 series, which I know is a lot for a lot of people, but I was normally the guy that watched 25 to 30 and thought nothing of it. I had been thinking about it for a while, and I decided this was the time. I think the only point I wanted to make from this video that I haven't yet is that I was always kind of a cynic. I still am a cynic, but especially when it came to online personalities or any sort of celebrity saying the fans mean the world to them. It's you guys that keep you going. And I'll tell you, we got that first email. I'm trying really hard here. We got that first email from Danny all that time ago. The first long email, saying, hey, I love what you guys do. Thank you for what you do. And it's an instant jolt knowing that this voice behind a microphone has affected somebody's life enough to make them want to do that. And Danny and Kay have become awesome podcasters in their own right. And, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy and fantastic to be able to, take this crackpot idea and to encourage and inspire other people to do the same and see them come into their own is more than I ever could have wished for. More than I ever could have wished for sure. I think what I want to say out of that is you don't have to be a passive consumer. everybody has a right to talk about their opinions, and I'm sure there's people out there who agree with you or disagree with you and still want to hear you. And I think that's an important thing in this day and age. Everybody does have a voice. Some are much louder than others. Some opinions are still bad. But every anime is somebody's favorite anime, and when you go in with that mindset, I totally borrowed that from Miles from Crunchyroll. Sorry, not sorry. But going in with that mindset, there's so many cool people and amazing things waiting for any of you listeners out there. If you just do it. Grab a mic, edit something. You don't even have to edit anything. I doubt this will be edited, and just put it out there. You know, if you build it, they will come. And I've grown so much out of this endeavor. I don't know how to thank everybody enough that's been a part of it. You know, every single view, every single comment, because I've read all of them. I continue to, even knowing that I'm making my exit. It's great. It's been a really, really fantastic part of my life. For that, I thank you guys, and yeah, I can still be found online. I'm not deleting my Twitter or anything. I'm sure I'll stream on Twitch every once in a while. I might even make a comeback to putting out content sometime. Who knows when? Maybe something will spark an idea. But you guys can find me the same places that we say the end of every episode. Hit me up, Patrick130M on Twitter. That's my stuff. If I'm streaming, I'll post there. Shoot me an email. I'll still have the patrick@onoanime.moe.com email addresses. I check those pretty regularly. Who am I kidding? I get a notification on my phone if you guys email me, because I love it. It keeps me going. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's all she wrote. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. So, as Patrick said, yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Patrick is leaving, and I am going to be taking on Ono Anime myself. The one thing I want to stress right off the bat that I don't think Patrick mentioned in the video, because I think it's pretty implicitly clear from the tone of all this, that this is as amicable as possible and something that we have both mutually agreed upon for the future of Ono Anime. It's something that I think has been floating around in both of our minds for a while, and Patrick brought it up to me a couple weeks ago, and I agreed that this was essentially the best and only way for both of us to move forward as people, and also really the only way forward for Ono Anime, minus Patrick's participation, which has been, basically the rock of Ono Anime for the past 3 years, and he is going to be greatly missed, and this is an incredibly bittersweet moment for me. A lot of bitter because one of my best friends is moving on from a project that we both mutually started, and obviously that's always a hard thing, but also exciting, because now is the time for me to kind of go wild and experiment a little bit to see what exactly Ono Anime is going to be. And without much further ado, so as not to waste more of your time with my incessant rambling, because this isn't about me today, I want to delve really quickly into what exactly Patrick's departure is going to mean for Ono Anime as a whole. And obviously, the first and foremost thing that we have to talk about is the podcast. The podcast is what we started Ono Anime around. It was only a podcast for the longest time, and it greatly pains me to say this, but without Patrick's involvement anymore, the podcast just can't continue. So, as of now, Ono Anime the podcast is no more. There will be no more numbered podcast episodes for the foreseeable future, and that's basically ending as of this video. The podcast feed will be staying up. All of our previous episodes will continue to be available for as long as Ono Anime exists, which is hopefully a very long time. The feed is going to be renamed to Ono Anime Presents, which is kind of stealing a name and concept from Giant Bomb, because over the coming months I'm going to be using it to experiment more with long-form content. I've been thinking a long time about this, long before Patrick ever told me that he wanted to part ways, about how the cost-benefit analysis of putting our podcast episodes up on YouTube and not creating more of a separation between long-form content on the podcast feed and short-form content on YouTube, which makes it a lot easier, not only time-wise, but also just in terms of sheer computing power, because rendering 2.5 hour long podcast episodes in 1080p 60 with green screen and all that is not a slow process. So yeah, interviews, con podcasts, guest spots, some pilots that I am going to be coming up with concepts with and kind of testing out over the next couple of months. That's basically what's going to be living in the podcast feed going forward, at least for now. Obviously, if another idea comes up, you'll be the first to know about it. But yeah, that's where the podcast is going right now. Those of you that follow me on my personal Twitter know I've been talking about this idea for a podcast called Pitchiban for a long time, and those of you that don't know about it, I won't get into it now because it'll spoil the surprise when it does eventually happen, but it is absolutely going to happen now more than ever, and will be a thing that finds its home in the Ono Anime Presents feed at a certain point in the future. But yeah, from now on, all long-form stuff like that, basically any podcast-style content, is no longer going to be on the YouTube page, just out of the interest of my own sanity and a time and effort. Next, some changes to social media. This is another thing that's kind of resulted out of a long cost-benefit analysis discussion that I've had with myself over the past year. Facebook and Instagram are both in their own ways going away. Facebook is going to be kept up. We're going to keep up our page, but basically with a post redirecting people to Twitter or our website, which is where we post the majority of content, interact with the majority of people anyway. We've never really seen as great of numbers on Facebook, or really any significant numbers on Facebook, other than people that we already knew going into this thing. So it's been pretty hard to build any sort of measurable fan base there. So anybody that somehow manages to find us through Facebook will just be redirected to Twitter and our website from now on. And then our Instagram, which we barely even kept up in the beginning, is just going to be deleted. I never use it. Patrick barely used it. It's just not a thing that I need going forward, and it's it won't be a dark cloud hanging over me of all the things I've started and never gone back to with Ono Anime. So that's gonna go away. But yeah, this is basically just because I'm only one person at this point, and also again, just the sheer numbers of it all. A word on the season previews. I thought a lot about this as well, considering how I'm not going to be continuing a podcast where I discuss seasonal anime, but the thing about that is that if I did not do season previews, I actually would not know what to watch in the upcoming season. So I am definitely going to keep doing season previews. I'm going to be sticking primarily to the format that we've been doing the past couple seasons, where we're doing more of a guide of recommended anime that we're going to be watching. So I actually, as recording this video, have already finished the fall 2018 anime guide, and yeah, it's just going to be chock full of the usual information you could expect from us, with some pared down takes, only because again I am one man, but basically it'll just be telling you what to watch and why to watch it, and hopefully you still respect my opinion enough to at least give that a look, and that'll be living on the website along with all the other previous ones and all the ones to come. And then, yeah, the last thing I wanted to say before I get into, some more sentimental stuff was these next few months are probably going to get pretty experimental as I figure out what I can and can't do on my own. I'm going to be testing boundaries, testing limits to see just what I'm capable of, not only as an editor and a writer and, everything else, but just, kind of exploring what I can do, what I can rely on other people for, and It should be an interesting and fun time. I'm going to be trying to run more streams, and there will be an announcement in that regard at the very end of this video. And yeah, I'm just going to be trying a bunch of different stuff. Some things that I haven't done before, some things that I'm just trying to do differently. But all of it is going to be Ono Anime, and very familiar to our voice and style that you've come to expect over the past 3 or so years that we've been doing Ono Anime in general, and probably 2 years that we've been doing the YouTube page. That is basically the end of the video. Some things I want to reiterate before I go. Ono Anime has always been a passion project, both for me and Patrick. Over the course of the past 3 years, it has become something that I am immensely proud of. Something that I've worked harder on and longer on than maybe any other hobby or passion project I've ever had in my entire life. I'm just immensely proud of what we've done, and I hope to be immensely proud of what I will continue to do in the future, and hopefully it will please all of you. But in that respect, in terms of it being a passion project, I have no desire to ever do this for money. I have a good, stable job that I'm very happy in, and I do have a desire to make a career eventually one day out of video editing or video production. But that's far in the future, and it's never something that I'm going to try to parlay Ono Anime into. Mostly because it's so hard to make a living as a content creator online anyways, that I feel like that's just the wrong approach to take after all these years of just doing it exactly for what we want to do and what I want to do. And that's, I think, what it's always going to be, regardless of where I'm at, or the amount of money I'm making, or whatever. Breaking even has always been the goal, or the best case scenario for Ono Anime eventually, and it would be nice. But I'm not expecting it, and I'm not expecting you all as our and hopefully my in the future fans to supply me with that desire. It just would be a nice thing in the future if it happened to happen, but I've never once considered it to be a necessity. And as I said before, this thing is my life, my baby. If this change results in any differences in the channel and in the brand as a whole, it'll be for the better. Just a more streamlined experience, more content, more frequency in getting videos and articles and whatever else I decide down the road to try out, because I work pretty fast, and when I don't work by committee, I can work extremely fast. So just depending on what's going on in my life, yeah, you could probably almost assuredly expect more content coming down the road than maybe ever before. And one last thing, at the end of the day, we and I have done Ono Anime this long for one thing, two things really, but one thing at the end of the day, and it's for ourselves, and for you, in that order. You being anyone who has listened or watched any of our stuff or read or anything. Like I said, it's a passion project, and what I mean by passion project is that we have only ever done exactly what we wanted to do. We have never, I feel like we've never compromised. We've certainly played off of trends and tried to stay current. But I think so far we can be very proud in the fact that we've never compromised ourselves, or our content in order to get ahead or whatever. Because at the end of the day, we just we always wanted to do this just for us and just for fun, and that's the sort of ethos that I'm going to be continuing to carry into the future for Ono Anime. And what that means, just organizationally, is that I probably am never going to join up with a network, or really put even 1% of Ono Anime in anyone else's hands. To part the curtain a little bit, we have gotten offers to join networks. Some of them have been enticing, but I think at the end of the day, we have always decided that it is so much better to put as little of your control and faith in other people's hands as possible when you're just trying to do something for yourself. And we could kind of look down the road and see that, there were branching paths, and only one of them led to a place where we could do exactly what we wanted and make no compromises in that. And so I think that's probably my favorite thing about Ono Anime and what has allowed us to do it for this long. And now that Patrick is parting ways and these changes are happening, I am making doubly sure not only to reiterate to you, but also to solidify it in my own mind that this is exactly the sort of feeling that I'm going to carry forward with Ono Anime in the future, is that, no compromises, and I'm going to be doing exactly what I want. And obviously, you all will be a part of that. I am going to try to involve you more in the process. I think that's really fun. We did that with our Yoko Kanno video, which was, primarily my baby and another one of my passion projects. Was a result of a Twitter poll. So I think you could probably expect to see more of those, because I like doing stuff that the people that watch us also like. But at the end of the day, if there's something that I really want to do, I'm going to do it. And I hope that you continue to follow me in that passion and that desire to do basically only what I think is right, and only what I think is interesting, and making no compromises about it. So hopefully that doesn't come off as too conceited. I'm still trying to not say we and say I from now on, despite how wrong and kind of big-headed it sounds. But that is the nature of what Ono Anime is now. Ono Anime is me, and I am Ono Anime. And I hope you continue to stick around, because there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff happening in the future. Speaking of the future, this video is going to be coming out the week of the 24th of September, and on Saturday the 29th of September at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am going to be running a stream. It's going to be very casual, but it's going to be a stream that I've been talking about a long time on Twitter, about cyberpunk video games, old and new. It's kind of going all over the place, but this is also going to be a good time to hang out and ask any questions about the transition and ideas that I have or whatever going forward in the future, or to share your own ideas or suggestions or whatever else you might have. This would be a great time. So it's going to be Saturday, September 29th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm just going to be streaming it on our YouTube channel, or on the YouTube channel, I guess I should say. It's youtube.com/OnoAnime. I will have posts up about it on Twitter a little bit later after this video gets posted, and also on our website. So in case you somehow don't see it there, or don't watch to the end of this video, you'll see it there. So yeah, that's essentially it. I hope you'll come along with me on this new and exciting chapter in Ono Anime's life, because there is a lot of exciting possibilities and ideas swimming around in my head, and I hope you will continue to be here when they come to fruition. Thanks, and I will see you soon.